Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spill the Tea. Gareth here is someone that I have had the pleasure of meeting recently. He actually was brought to my attention by a friend of mine, and I looked you up, and I was really drawn towards his whole approach to healing. You would be labeled a healer. But before we get into that, I would like to ask you, how's your tea?
Tea is good. Um, I thoroughly enjoy drinking tea. I'm more of a tea than coffee person.
Okay, great.
This is hibiscus flavor, it's not my everyday choice,
Oh, mine either.
but it's certainly not too bad.
Okay.
There's a local Saudi brand called Machi,
Yeah.
which I love. On a daily basis, I
Yeah.
have their
This is actually
matcha.
matcha.
It is
Yeah.
fantastic, even good. At least I know it's good quality.
Yeah. No,
So
definitely.
my current go-to
Shout out.
tea, my current go-to tea would be their matcha,
Okay.
and then at night would be sweet dreams.
Oh, yes. That's
Yeah,
a good one. I
yeah.
love that. Okay, so well then without further ado, let's spill it. I'm actually interested in the way you approach healing in general because I am someone who doesn't know. I say this a lot. I don't know much about anything, so I love to just learn. So I'm just gonna literally leave it up to you to just teach me about all the things that I might not know about how to heal myself, like or misconceptions that you would like to debunk. Medical conceptions that you would like to debunk, especially in terms of like surgeries and medications and all these things, and how people should approach healing themselves in general. And now I'm gonna be quiet and let you speak.
Good. Well, I will start at saying this much. As a mentor much wiser than me often says, I know that I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm in the same boat as you in that I know very, very little.
Okay.
I have dedicated a
Maybe don't preach that
significant...
to your clients.
No, no, no. I have dedicated a significant amount of my life towards studying and understanding good health and how we can, what are the practices we need to have in place in order to cultivate and sustain good health. I am first and foremost a very, very big advocate of preventative health.
Okay.
One of my favorite mentors in a investing or financial sense, Warren Buffett, he says that I believe, I don't want to get this quote wrong, but he says an ounce of cure is worth a ton of prevention.
Okay.
Right. And so for the most part, my belief is that we're better off preventing problems from starting
Of course.
as opposed to trying to fix those problems. However, the majority of my clientele come to me because they want to fix certain problems. Some people, mashallah, are in good health and they only want to continue to be in good health.
Okay.
It's a lot easier to work with those people.
Because they're already starting off from a baseline where it's easier to just maintain and grow in a better way.
Yes.
Whereas that, okay, I get it.
Yes.
Because prevention is
is-
the best form of medicine, basically.
Yes, it is easier to sustain than it is to attain.
What is the most, I don't know if you can even speak to it, like, have you ever had a client where the cure, let's say, seemed impossible, but you managed to fix them, if that's the correct word, or heal them?
Yeah. It's very interesting because I've come across a very wide spectrum of ailments, and at least what I've found in general population who have physical ailments, pretty much everything can be fixed.
Oh, really?
Of course, there are certain things that are very problematic. If you have late stage cancer, it's very difficult to fix, unfortunately. However, the biggest problems I've encountered are more psychological than physical. And those are the pieces which are ongoing work, but that's the stuff that was ingrained into us. You could say it is a dogma that is in people. And so they struggle to, or they cannot see life without that certain ideology. That is difficult.
What is the nature of your clients? Like usually the clients that come to you, what is it they're looking to feel, to fix or heal? Usually like a physical pain, like injury, or is it mostly emotional? Like what kind of healer are you? How do you approach healing?
Well, I try my very best to approach healing as in the most holistic sense possible.
Yes, because it's just because I'm not quite clear on what that means.
Yes.
So for anyone like me who doesn't exactly know what
Yes.
holistic healing is, if you could just shed some light
Holistic
on that.
healing or holistic health, in short, is trying to treat the human being as a whole.
Okay. What does that mean exactly?
Because you understand that a watch ticks to tell the time,
Yeah.
right? So it's working.
Yeah.
But this watch works with an entire system that makes it all tick.
Yes.
It's not just one thing, right? If one thing has a problem, well, that is going to create multiple other problems,
True.
right? So in the same sense with the human being, there's an analogy I like that if you have a pond and you drop something in that pond, of course the effect will be felt at that specific place, but it will ripple into every other place, right? Now, coming basically in reverse, there is oftentimes also problems that are deep-rooted within us, if I speak about ideas and dogmas that people grow up with or inherit from their parents and their surroundings, that will limit them or prevent them in other aspects of their life, and that may create further problems. So, if someone has knee problems,
Okay.
and so they do less exercise, and then let's say they start to have problems with diabetes, or they get overweight, or there's a long string of knock-on effects that could happen because you have a knee problem and you're doing less exercise. From there, your hormones don't work as well. From there, your sleep cycles are not as good. From there, because you're not doing as much exercise, your brain's probably not functioning as optimally.
Okay.
Your core starts to break down, your posture gets bad. When you stand,
All this because of a knee.
potentially all of this because of a knee, but then even if you understand treating the human being as a whole, if you have a knee pain, that is not necessarily a knee problem,
Okay.
right? So the pain and the problem could be very different things. I'm thinking of the pain as the localized point of pain. The problem, in my eyes, is the root that started that.
How do you get to the root?
That takes time, right? A good starting place is to assess, right? I've studied through the Czech Institute, right,
Okay.
which is founded by Paul Czech. And so we have this idea, which is assess, don't guess,
Okay.
right? So you're assessing to get information, and from there, with that objective and subjective information, you can start to build a plan
Okay.
to help a human being get
Okay.
whole. So if I'm saying you have a knee problem, or let's say it's a common example, you have a shoulder problem. If you understand the human being functions as a whole, and then you recognize through your assessments that they have problems with their liver, it's entirely possible that their liver, because it's on the same meridian at their right shoulder,
Okay.
that the liver is causing problems in their shoulder.
No way.
I don't want to overcomplicate it if I keep it at layperson terms, but this is referred to as a viscerosomatic reflex.
Okay.
Viscera is organs,
Okay.
somatic is muscle,
Okay.
right? So if you have a shoulder problem and you keep trying to fix your shoulder problem, but it always comes back as a shoulder problem, or the problem proliferates to be an elbow problem or wrist problem, it's entirely possible, that's a good indicator that you're not treating the root problem. So if you have shoulder pain that is continuing and has been there for years, it's very possible that the problem is not the shoulder.
Something else.
The problem is going to be something else. Now,
That's so interesting.
that could also correlate to emotions that are stored in the body. So there is a very, very wide spectrum as to where the problem may root, but oftentimes it will reveal itself as physical pain.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting. So you're saying your actual emotions can manifest themselves physically.
Of course. There is a saying I enjoy, Dr. Kelly Starrett, who's a doctor of, I believe he's a physiotherapist. And he has a saying, where the rats get in is not where they eat. Right? So if you see in cartoons, I think it's Mickey Mouse or no, Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. Sorry, Mickey Mouse. I'm reading the book of the Disney CEO, so that's why I'm thinking of Mickey Mouse.
Oh, okay.
So Tom and Jerry, the rat comes out of this little
The mouse,
hole.
please.
The mouse, sorry, the rat. The mouse comes out of this little mouse hole.
Yeah.
But he's got this massive space inside the wall
Yeah.
that he's able to. So, in essence, that point of pain is only just the starting point to where the actual problem might be. Now, in some cases, it might just be that your knee is weak and you need to just make your knee stronger and stabilize it. But in many cases, particularly when there is ongoing treatment and that problem is either going to peripheralize or continue, that's when we need to start looking to perhaps what's happening in the gut. Perhaps there are organs that have shut down. Perhaps there are emotions that are stored in the body. So treating the human being as a whole in this sense is that we understand the knee is not just the knee. The knee is a reaction of
That's so
7,
interesting.
8,
But that's
many
so,
other things.
But I feel like that's so difficult to tackle. Like, how do you even... Okay, I understand you're saying that you have a series of questions that you go about, like, and asking your client to deduce maybe the starting point of the pain. But if it is emotional, how do you even begin to heal that with your client? Because you're not exactly a therapist, correct?
Some of my work does involve coaching to that extent.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I
Yes,
didn't know
yes, yes. So yes, that is a piece of what happens, but at the same time, it's important to understand I'm just one practitioner. I have a series of other practitioners around me who specialize in their particular niches. And so I've referred many of my clients out,
that. Okay.
particularly when it comes to a lot more mental emotional issues. A lot of them I would refer out to people who have extensive knowledge, but also have a holistic view.
So what's your niche? Like, what's your...
My niche is
specialty?
helping human beings get healthy. But no, essentially I'm a lot more of a generalist in that sense. I think I want to specialize a lot more with physical rehabilitation because unfortunately there's so much damage that's going on within human beings physically, and that's where most of our pain resolves. So if that's the starting point and I have a whole bunch of other tools in my toolkit to help a person, then perhaps that's where they bite the bait. And hopefully if they are truly willing to do the work, which is all the healing, then they would be willing to make the changes in their nutrition, in their lifestyle, in their sleep. They would be willing to sit with whatever psychological shadows they have been holding in their life. And that's where the liberation, I find, at least in my personal and professional experience, that is where the beauty is.
That's so interesting because, like, especially when it comes to nutrition, like I said, I'm someone who doesn't know much about anything, but I'm learning. And I'm going to ask you because I'm assuming you know more than me.
I might.
When it comes to nutrition, I'm learning that it's like you said, there's always like a starting point that could manifest itself physically and all these things. But I don't know if this is true or not, but I learned that nutrition can actually also influence your emotions. So what you put in your gut will actually, obviously, like, you can be like, oh, I ate chocolate, so it makes me happy. That's one thing, but it's not even just the instant reaction. It's like it can manifest itself like into pure emotion and also your mental health and a lot of other things. But I would never think that what I'm eating is affecting me on such a deeper level, other than, oh, I'm eating vegetables, this has vitamins and minerals that my body needs to function properly, and nothing more than that. So could you like maybe shed some light on exactly how deeply like ingrained nutrition is in terms of our mental and emotional well-being as well?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, the starting point, at least through my my assessments and questionnaires, the starting point is about what you eat,
Okay.
right? Thereafter,
Is there a better, the best form of diet out there? Like, because you know how there's like veganism and carnivore diet and all these things. It's hard to keep track.
well, as a starting point, I don't suggest vegan diets, at least for lifelong living. There may be occasions here or there where someone wants to detox, and so they feel called to be a vegan for a period of time.
Okay.
But veganism is not a very sustainable approach to life. But nutrition, look, the answer very often is it depends,
Okay.
right? Who are you? What is your current position? What is your goal? Where are you relative to that, right? What are your allergies, if we're going to start speaking about nutrition,
Okay.
right? What is your ancestry? Because most people...
Ancestry, really?
Yes, very, very important. So if you look at the work of, I believe it's Walcott,
Okay.
his work is published through quite a layperson book, which is called the Metabolic Typing Diet. So if you understand that your metabolic types correlate very much to the region that you come from. So a simple example, European people, it is actually impossible that they could have been vegans, because the closer you are to the North Pole, we have a thing called winter.
Yes.
And then it freezes.
Heard of it.
Yeah. So when it freezes, plants don't grow.
Okay.
So you can't eat plants and vegetables.
Okay.
They don't actually grow for 6 months of the year. So you have to eat meat, right? I mean, if you go really close to the poles, these people, it's very cold, so they pretty much eat a lot of fat and a lot of meat.
That's so interesting. So you're saying certain people, depending on where they come from, can digest certain things better just because their ancestry, their lineage ties back to like...
Arabs and Middle Easterners do pretty okay with rice.
Yes, that is very true.
They're very good with rice.
Yeah.
Europeans are not so good with rice.
Okay.
They've not evolved to eat rice. If I put it like this, go to Denmark and find a rice field for me.
Okay.
It doesn't exist, right?
Okay.
Go to Asia and find rice fields. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what the people ate. So our body, through time, adapted to this,
Okay.
right? That is, in the simplest sense, there's a saying which I enjoy: eat what your grandmother ate, right?
Okay.
Or don't eat it if your grandmother didn't eat it, which for the most part, everything which is the standard American diet, which is not a good one, right? But everything that's packaged and processed,
What? Pizza's
your
not a
ancestors, no. No. Contrary to
Did
popular
you hear
belief.
about that when when they said that pizza's a vegetable?
No,
I
mean,
so
you can
happy.
you can put your vegetables on the pizza, but yeah, anything that is packaged or processed, your ancestors would not have eaten.
That's very true.
Now, with all that said, just a personal disclaimer: I like chocolate too, and I like ice cream. So occasionally, I eat these things, which are not very good for me, right? Now, how that potentially correlates to emotions, well, if you take a young kid and you give them a bunch of Coca-Cola and sweets, it will be very evident, it will be eyesore and tangible as to how their emotional state has changed
Okay.
within a matter of minutes,
Yes.
right? The same
It
applies...
doesn't have to even be a child. It could be me.
Yes. Yes. It could be any grown adult.
Yeah.
In a child, it's just the potency of the sugars and the chemicals are going to be very fast reacting,
Okay.
right? The same thing applies to even caffeine. There are some people whom, if they don't have their caffeine in the morning, you really are better off not being around them for the rest of the day, because their mental emotional state is terrible.
My mother. I love you.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of examples, but
Yeah.
right? And then there are other people who are not reliant on caffeine or some form of a stimulant. And these people would typically be a lot more even in their emotional state.
Okay.
Those are simple examples.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to go a little more in depth, but still keep it very layperson, if I eat junk food for weeks on weeks on weeks, I am destroying and disrupting my gut bacteria. Once my gut is disrupted, there is going, literally every function in my body thereafter is going to be disrupted, and it's going to worsen. When your gut is functioning optimally, it doesn't necessarily mean that everything else is functioning perfectly, but it certainly allows the other organs, hormones, emotions to function with less disruption.
Okay.
You might still receive a phone call from your father or your lawyer or your mother-in-law that makes you irritated, and you have a lashing and you get angry.
Okay.
That still happens, yes.
Okay.
Life still exists. However, the best way that we can optimize our internal state starts with good nutrition.
Okay. Does it really affect your hormones that much?
Everything.
Really? Like,
Everything.
to what extent? Like, if you can
To
give an example.
every extent. I mean, if you're eating junk food, well, here's a sad example that we live with.
Okay.
Most of how modern society is consuming food is very far from what our ancestors would have been.
Yes.
We eat a lot of packaged, processed junk.
Because it's easy, convenient, and it tastes good.
Well, we've also been sold a dream that this is healthy. It is marketed to us in a very eye-catching way.
True.
It is at eye level. If you look at who spends the most amount of money advertising and propagating to us that their products are the best, these are not health companies,
That is very true.
right? These are, for lack of a better word, big food, which doesn't have our best interests at heart.
It's like you're not you when you're hungry. Snickers.
Yes, coincident, or Coca-Cola is not selling hydration, they're selling happiness. Right, that's
It's very
great
clever.
marketing.
Yes.
It's not great for us human beings,
No.
right? And so a simple example of how that affects human beings and how it continues to worsen the modern day human being, I would say that we're devolving. We've stopped evolving, is that we have a massive problem with fertility.
Okay, that is interesting.
That is a byproduct of the very bad lifestyle we have lived, which has correlated to all of these aberrations in our hormonal state.
So you're saying that what we're eating is potentially affecting fertility.
100%.
That is
What
so
you're
interesting
eating
and so
is-
scary.
Yes, it's very scary. What you're eating is also probably the closest influence to how you're sleeping.
Okay, I struggle with my sleep a lot,
Yes.
sir. So,
So,
fix me.
yeah. Well, for starters, 8 is great regarding hours of sleep, right? There's a very, very select few human beings that can function optimally without 8. And most of the people who think that they're good without 8, they just haven't really experienced how good they can be with 8,
Yeah.
I would say. Or perhaps they have things that are more important than the 8 hours of sleep.
Okay.
But it is really when we are sleeping that the body is going through its repair process and its growth process.
Okay.
So, of course, you should not be sleeping 16 hours a day. That's like a cat. But
If only.
we really, all the studies show
Yeah.
that at least 8 hours of sleep, if we cut it to 7:30, okay, we can live with that. But we really ought to be getting that time in bed. And that is then a huge correlation to our hormonal production.
Okay.
That is also a massive correlation to our mental state.
And it
right.
all goes back to nutrition.
Well, yes, nutrition,
Or it ties back
of course.
to a certain extent.
Nutrition, they're all intertwined. You know, if you're chronically dehydrated, that's not going to help either.
So I'm wondering, if somebody, I don't know if it has happened, I'm sure it has, or I'm sure you know, is it possible for someone to fix their fertility issues by fixing their nutrition?
Not only is it possible, it's the very best way to do it.
You're kidding.
Yeah,
That's so interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
off the top of my head, I forget exactly her name, but she's done a heck of a lot of work around fertility, and she actually offers courses, which I'm looking forward to doing.
Okay. Is she here? I'd love to talk to her.
No,
if you're
she's
listening.
no. She's one of the very smart people in the US.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm sure she's not the only one.
Oh, I'm sure, yes.
I'm sure there are many natural fertility doctors out there. And essentially, it all comes down to our lifestyle. So yes, nutrition is a huge contributor towards being in good health and then being able to, conceive and have a healthy pregnancy. Hydration is also important. Sleep is also important. Stress is also important.
But like it's so scary to think that what I'm eating right now could potentially affect me later on whenever it comes time for me to like decide to have my own family. So what is it that are like, can I even ask what should I avoid? Is it everything? Because everything now is highly processed. So it's very, even the fruits and vegetables, to be honest. So what do we do?
Look, I've summarized and what I've learned regarding nutrition. Eat whole foods, fresh and organic where possible.
Okay.
That is the simplest motto I can share without getting too complicated, without saying you should not eat beef and you should eat chicken and you shouldn't eat fish. And all of the specifics are...
Noise.
Yes.
Okay.
In principle, we must eat whole foods.
Okay.
Our ancestors were eating whole foods. That is the absolute fundamental starting point to good health, is that you must eat whole foods.
Okay.
Right? Of course, the parts about hydration and sleep and movement, these are fundamental contributors towards us being healthy. And just to go back to your point to say it's a bit scary to think that what you're eating could potentially affect your future fertility. It is not, sorry to say it like this, it's not potentially affecting your future. It is with certainty affecting your future fertility. By the way, that goes for me too, as a male. If you look at all of the studies which are showing males' testosterone production, it's all going down.
Really?
Human beings are not getting healthier. The current way in which we're conducting our lifestyle is not making us any better. We are getting more and more unhealthy by the day. I hate to sound doom and gloom.
No, but like it's good to also highlight it so that we can take the proper steps or whatever steps we can take to try and, like you said, prevent before we have to recover and fix.
Yes. I mean, you made another good point, which is even the vegetables, for the most part, are not organic or have chemicals sprayed on them. That is true. But I can promise you, even if that's all you can do, it's better than eating literal processed foods every day.
You're eating the rainbow, as they
yes,
say.
100%.
Yeah.
I try to encourage that too, eat the rainbow. But more nutrients, less problems, in short. Eat the rainbow, more nutrients.
Okay.
As a simple guideline.
That's interesting. And is there any truth to what I was saying earlier about how much protein in general a person should be getting?
Again, my answer to most of what you will ask will start with it depends.
Okay.
If you want to build a lot of muscle, you need more protein. If you don't want to build as much muscle, you don't need as much protein.
Okay.
Everyone needs some protein, right?
Because I just feel like our ancestors never really, like, they would just eat meat or whatever protein source whenever it would be available.
Yeah.
But now I hear a lot of talk, which is why I bought the protein bars. Are like, especially for women, as you age, like you tend to lose muscle mass faster. And it's important to retain. So I was just like, but I'm not gonna go chug like chicken breasts every 5 seconds. So.
Well, you don't need to eat the protein every 5 seconds as a starting point. Yeah. But, I mean, having supplements for protein is not a bad thing. When I say supplements, as in you're supplementing a meal, it's important. I don't know if this is a topic you want to get into, but
anything. Spill the tea.
Spill the tea. You know, a lot of people have become excessively reliant on supplements.
Okay.
However, supplements are not going to do you any good if you do not have a good base and a good foundation of health. In other words, you're eating whole foods, you're staying hydrated, right? If you drink electrolytes, which is it's like a hit thing, right? But you only drink 1 liter of water a day, the electrolytes aren't going to do much for you.
Okay.
Right? So you need to have your base level of health in check. You need to be living this healthy life. And then supplements can be a massive healthy contributor.
So they're an accessory. An
For them-
accessory to your health. To
Yes,
the
they
base.
they are an accessory, but unfortunately, when I said human beings are devolving, we're getting to a point where certain supplements are becoming almost prerequisites. So you mentioned the vegetables are processed and been sprayed. That's true. The majority of what we are eating is not organic. By definition, that means it's full of pesticides, herbicides, and the rest of it. Right? Most of the food and most of the soil is so depleted of magnesium. Most human beings need to be taking magnesium.
Okay.
Right? Some people are doing just fine. Those are probably the people who are living off the earth and are not so close to the city. Right? But, you know, magnesium, I mean, I can eat a lot of spinach, that will help. I can have a lot of this food, that will help. But most of the food, even then, is still depleted in magnesium. So having a magnesium supplement, amongst a few others, they are sadly becoming quite necessary just to maintain your baseline level of health.
I'm just, it's because it's like a lot of overwhelming information, right? And I'm just trying to, even because like even now you're saying like magnesium, but even with magnesium, there's like so many derivatives of magnesium.
There
And-
is.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, look, supplements, again, it sounds like there's no winning approach for us because the supplement industry is quite a dirty industry,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of stuff that is, you know, it's not what it says it is on the bottle. There's a lot of companies that spend more money on marketing than they do on the actual products,
Okay.
right? I've learned that you get what you pay for, truly. I think it's important to do research on what you are putting into your body, and it's important to know who you are buying from.
But how? Like if you're not someone who's knowledgeable in this field or industry, like if I were to go buy something right now, what should I even look for? I would be so confused.
Well, my starting point in that sense, so if you don't have much knowledge on this topic and you think or someone said you need something, get professional advice,
Okay.
right? Perhaps in your case, you can contact me to say, hey, can you advise me? And I'm just going to help you as best as I can. In many people's case, where they don't have a friend who's like the healthy friend, I'm that token healthy friend. In many people's case, it's very, very much worth the time and effort to find out from a professional or to perhaps even do blood tests to see where you're deficient and then start your supplementing from that point. But also don't forget about if you're deficient in zinc, eat more foods with zinc.
Okay. Or like you can also take the cheaper route and get yourself a token healthy friend.
Yes, of course. But I mean, there's certain things that even I would need further information.
Of course.
If you're just sitting in front of me and you want to know what's
Like you
a
said,
good...
you need to continue learning.
Yes. If you want to know what's a good baseline handful of supplements, I can tell you things that are probably going to be very positive contributors towards you. However, if you have a complex problem in your body and you want to know what supplements to take, it's a good starting point that we first have blood tests or you've seen a GP and you have further opinions, right? Because at that point, guessing is not going to be beneficial for anyone.
How did you get into holistic health in particular? Like what drove you to it?
Well, here's a long story.
It's okay.
I
we
think
got time.
my journey into health started as a sick person, which I think most, if you're going to classify me as a healer, I don't think of myself as a healer.
What would you classify yourself as?
I'm a holistic health practitioner,
Okay.
right? I'm trying my very best to be able to help people in all spheres of their health, right? But I started as a sick person. It at the earliest stage was chronic asthma,
Okay.
right? I know that I had some breathing problems when I was young through my nose, and that correlated to some ear problems. And so basically I was living life thinking that was just the norm. At a certain point, the asthma was getting pretty bad. I was very regularly going to like the emergency room, and the doctor had said to my father, look, we need to do something about this. And I think he indicated that swimming and running were both very good for lung capacity. At that point, assuming that the problem I had was in my lung capacity, right?
Was it not?
As time went on, we learned not. But,
Okay.
right, the asthma shows up here in my lungs.
Sure.
And I struggle to breathe, and I'm hyperventilating. The list goes on. Asthma comes in varying degrees, right? Some people much worse, and some people, thankfully, less. So when I started swimming and running, a lot of my asthma alleviated because my lung capacity got stronger.
Okay. So there was some truth to what the doctor said.
100%, yes. I'm very grateful for that advice.
Turns out he knew what he was saying.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So that, unbeknownst to me, was also my introduction into sport
Okay. Oh.
and more physical movement.
Before that you weren't?
I don't know. I don't know the exact timelines of when my father said, okay, let's go and do, start playing football at a
Okay.
club in a team. But from the youngest age, thankfully, both my parents were quite sporty and active when they were growing up and still participate in some sports. They were always encouraging me to, use my body and be active. So I did some karate when I was young. I'm not a karate person, but it was an activity to do, I'm sure I did many other activities. At Children's Sports Day, everyone has to run and everyone has to jump. And so
you had some activity in your
Yes.
life, but not enough to maybe help with your lung
not in a
capacity.
very structured way. It was
Okay.
just kind of, do as you please.
Okay.
And so swimming and running helped in a huge way with asthma. And then I started to excel in some of these sports
Okay.
in South Africa. Thankfully, we're encouraged to pretty much do all sports.
Okay, that's nice.
So you have a very general skill set built as a young child. So I played hockey, I played football as in soccer, I played baseball, I played softball, I have played either tennis or badminton, not in a serious capacity, or squash, but I've played some racket sports. I've done track and field, which includes high jump, which includes long jump, which includes shot put, which includes sprints, which includes medium, which includes long distances. So in short, my athletic profile was being built very far and wide. That, I think, was a great benefactor to me in the long term when I then did, specialize in a particular sport,
Okay.
because I had
So
all
you're
of these different skills.
Well-rounded.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas being ultra specific from the beginning, look, Tiger Woods was playing golf since he was 3 years old. He's the best golf player ever. I don't know what the stats and what that all says, but he's definitely the most gifted, natural, talented golf player we've ever seen. He only played golf.
Okay.
So he specified from a young age, and that obviously paid off for him, right? But for the most part, building this very general skill set is very helpful. That's also very good for the brain.
A specific, not an all well-rounded, like have a bit of everything kind of sport, like form
No.
of activity.
My idea in building this very general skill set is that you do all sports.
Okay. Okay.
So you learn how to catch, you learn how to use your feet, you learn how to swim in the water, you learn how to jump. I don't
Learn
do
how
that
to
all
use all
in
the
one
parts of your body,
sport.
basically.
Yes, I don't do that in one sport. I do that in 12 sports.
Okay. Okay.
And as a young child, thankfully, I was exposed to all of these different sports. So that was, again, very helpful in me now becoming a healthier human. Going back to being a sick person, growing up through, school, I was sick whenever the flu was going around.
Okay.
And that almost became just like something that was a self-fulfilling prophecy. When kids started getting flu, or it was the change of the season, I was just like, oh, I knew I'd be sick. And then at some point in time, I'd be in the doctor's rooms and I would get antibiotics, and that was just normal.
Like it was a given. Like,
yes.
oh, I'm about to get sick.
Yes. Then I moved to Cape Town just after I finished school. And Cape Town, relative to Durban's climate, has a much harsher winter.
Okay.
And it was through that winter that I want to say that was the starting point where I really started to see these gaping holes in my immunity. So here I was getting sick a lot more frequently.
Okay.
Right, and that was very, very frustrating. But again, I was going to the doctors, and it was kind of just, you have all the flu symptoms, so here's your antibiotics. And so I took way too much antibiotics that had very negative effect on my gut bacteria. And then, of course, that stems over and rolls over, steamrolls into many other facets of life, unfortunately. Until I got to the point where I realized that the doctors I was seeing, just the general GPs, they were not fixing my problem, and I needed to somehow fix this somewhere else. It was
just putting a
around
Band-Aid on.
Yes. It was around this time that I was giving a lot of my attention towards CrossFit. So that was my first official certification in the sphere of health and fitness.
Okay.
CrossFit. I still love CrossFit to this day. And I'm very grateful for everything that I've learned.
Okay.
But through these avenues and being around CrossFit gyms, and then listening to, again, my seniors and my elders and my mentors, and taking their advice and them starting to speak more about nutrition, that's where I started to pick up on that area of health. But it was one day when I showed up it was a free consultation to a naturopath. She went through a series of assessments and questionnaires, and she concluded to say, you have X and Y, and you need to fix it by doing A, B, and C. And basically the A, B, and C of how you're going to get healthy was to sleep earlier, was to eat more whole foods, was, in my case, eat more raw foods as well. That was something I was very deficient in, was to be more hydrated, right? So really it was the absolute basics.
So interesting.
Alhamdulillah, since that day, I've used antibiotics once in my life.
Alhamdulillah.
And that was post-operation.
Okay. So it was a necessity.
It's absolutely necessary. Right? There were a few other pivotal moments in me becoming a healthy person, or I would say pivotal contributors. My mum, at a young age for me, she did a health program, and she did really well.
Okay.
MashaAllah. She lost a lot of weight. I recall that being quite a happy period of my upbringing.
Okay.
And she was the person that was the shining light to look up to in that regard. And thankfully also my mom's sister has, for the longest time, at least as far as I can remember, she's owned what is a little supplement store, actually called Health and Fitness.
Okay.
Right? To her credit, she has excellent location, and she has a lot of long-standing customers.
Okay.
Right, but that contributed because at a young age, she was giving my mom supplements like omega-3s and vitamin C, which is really basic supplements. But I started asking, oh, what's that? How come I can't take it? When do I take it, or what can I take? I was just curious.
Okay.
She had these like
shiny
little bottles.
Yeah.
And so I started asking more questions. She, again, through her sister, had some knowledge as to how these supplements were good for her immunity, good for her brain. The list goes on. Then I started to ask my aunt. I would at times show up in her shop, and then there was a lot of products. So I was just slowly learning. I started reading quite compulsively Men's Health
Okay.
from a young age.
Interesting.
Men's Health and Men's Fitness,
Okay.
which in hindsight is kind of weird because I was like 13.
Okay.
But there was a lot of
You were
valuable...
way too evolved for your age.
Yeah. There was a
Even
lot
with
of
the
very...
questions that you were asking, you're
a lot of very valuable information. And so that was a very informal start. And then, of course, at a certain point, you have a cell phone or a TV or a laptop, and then you have YouTube, and then you search certain people and you find certain names and you listen to this guy. At some point, maybe I was more of a meathead and I was just thinking about like strength training and bigger muscles.
aesthetics more than...
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I did learn the hard way that's, you know, looking good is very different to feeling good.
Oh, yes, that is...
The external is not
very
always
accurate.
reflective of what's
Yeah.
the internal. But that was kind of my introduction. Thankfully, that advice from that naturopath, which was entirely natural advice, since then I've only continued on that trajectory. And then at some point I realized that just strength and fitness and movement is only a subsector of health.
Okay.
So fitness is not health. Fitness is just a piece of this bigger thing called health.
Okay.
Fitness is a result of your movement, and be it some cardiovascular, be it some strength, be it X, Y, and Z. Right? CrossFit is the sport of fitness. It is not the sport of health. Those are different
I agree
things.
with, but I would like to understand a bit more about how fitness is not health.
Fitness is just a piece of the health.
Okay, so...
So if we're going to
How many
break
pieces
down
are there?
health, if we're going to break down health into 6 foundational principles,
Oh, 6. I just thought of 2. Nutrition and fitness.
no, those are two of them. So we could categorize fitness as movement,
Okay.
right? But there is also thinking, which is all of this mental
Okay, yes,
stuff,
true. You're right.
right?
Yeah.
There is also breathing, which is something that we do 25,000 times a day, which is more than what we should,
Oh, okay.
right?
Really?
Way more. There is also nutrition, as
Okay.
you've already alluded to. There is also hydration, and there's also sleep. These are foundational pillars of health. Those are the things that really need to be in place before we start making the next step. If you don't have that baseline, you're fighting a losing battle.
That's daunting because I feel like it's very hard to do well in all of those aspects. And I know it shouldn't be, but for some reason it is. Like even with breathing, I think one of the first things you notice about me is my breathing is a bit off. And you even once asked me, like, do I have shoulder pain? And I was like, yes. And you said it could be the result of your breathing. Like I would have never thought that my breathing would be affecting me physically and causing me actual physical pain because I wasn't breathing right. Like there are so many aspects of our bodies and our health that is just like every time I talk to you or people like you, I'm like, wow, there's just so much more to learn, but at the same time there's so much more to apply, and that can just be overwhelming sometimes.
That is very true. That is very true. I mean, you don't have to excel in any of these. I think if you have your baselines of, let's say, 7 to 8 or 9 hours of sleep, for the most part, you're good. If you want to get very technical about what's the temperature in the room, and do I have blinds, and do I have shutouts, and is my room completely black, and is there no EMFs in my room, and there's no plugs, and
It's
there's
just
a
too
long way that you can go.
And don't look at your screen, but then everything's on your phone nowadays, and it's like, oh, but I have to set my alarm, but
Yes.
to set my alarm I have to look at my phone, like
Yes.
so many things.
So, I mean, we could get very technical about it, but the baseline of good sleep is that you need to sleep somewhere between 7 to 9 hours every day.
So my 5.5 to 6 is
Ain't gonna cut it.
okay. Good to know. Am
Yeah.
I gonna die young? I'm joking. Don't answer that question.
Well, less sleep, less years. put it that
Okay,
way.
fair enough.
And
But actually, I
short.
would like to, if you have the time and want to talk about it, circle back to how breathing, how important it is to learn how to breathe right, and how not breathing right affects your body.
Well, again, trying to be as simple and layperson about breathing. Firstly, just as important to note, breathing is considered the second most important piece of a human's hierarchical needs, right after your brain and your psychology.
I was just gonna say, what's the first then? 'Cause
Yeah,
breathing
so
should be pretty
your brain is,
Yeah.
I mean, if your brain cuts off, you cut off.
Yeah,
Your
fair
brain
enough.
and your spinal cord that's the most important.
Mm-hmm.
Thereafter, it's your breath.
Mm-hmm.
And the way which we know that is absolutely correct is because, sure, if your brain cuts off, or if, God forbid, a bullet goes into your brain and it's off, you're off.
Yeah,
It's done,
obviously, yes.
right? The next thing, which, if it's off, you're off, is the breath.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't breathe for the next 10 minutes, I'm done,
Okay.
right? But if I don't eat for the next 10 minutes, no problem,
Mm-hmm.
right?
True.
If I don't drink for the next 10 minutes, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
So according to their importance relative to our survival, that's how we can understand what is high in the hierarchy.
Okay.
So after our brain, it's our breath.
Mm-hmm.
That is how important it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you don't breathe properly, I guarantee you have physical problems.
Okay. So
Non-negotiable.
what is breathing properly then?
Breathing properly.
I feel like I need to take a breath right now.
Okay, if you need to take a breath, do it through your nose.
Okay. Oh, see? Okay.
Breathing properly is breathing through your nose,
Mm-hmm.
breathing into your stomach,
Mm-hmm.
and then into your chest.
Mm-hmm.
So this diaphragmatic breathing
Mm-hmm.
is a very important thing. If we're breathing through our mouth, we're going to be chronically breathing into our chest,
Mm-hmm.
which has its chronic carryovers into our shoulders and our neck and our headaches and
I do have neck problems. I do
right?
breathe through my nose a lot.
Right.
I mean my mouth a lot.
So breathing, the idea is low, slow, and through the nose.
Okay.
Right? Low meaning breathe into your diaphragm, breathing into your stomach. Slow being ideally as slow as possible, you're breathing. So if your breath cycle is 6 breaths per minute, that's excellent. Most human beings are not walking around with 6 breaths per minute.
I never even thought to
At
count.
least not in our waking day. Maybe in your meditative state, you can get down to 6 breaths a minute. And when you do that,
Okay.
you will feel a significant, an astounding mental difference as you lower your breath rate.
Okay. In what way?
It's 100% correct. So the slower you are breathing,
Mm-hmm.
particularly the more you elongate your exhales,
Mm-hmm.
that will accentuate the parasympathetic nervous system.
Which is what?
If we think of sympathetic and parasympathetic,
Mm-hmm.
sympathetic is our fight, flight, freeze, fawn state.
Okay.
That's typically how we're responding to stress. Parasympathetic is rest and digest,
Okay.
right? Have you ever had
So breathing out helps that.
Yes,
system.
the more you elongate your exhale,
Mhm.
the more parasympathetic, you are sending a message to your brain, everything's okay. The more you are breathing through your mouth and you are inhale dominant, you're sending a message to your brain, I'm in an emergency.
So that's why when people are having especially nervous episodes, they're like breathe slowly out, like exhale slowly.
That's
To
the
help
best
calm
thing you
down.
can do.
Okay.
Yes. If you've ever seen someone get into an ice bath,
Mm-hmm.
the common response is
Yes.
that they will start breathing through their mouth, they will hyperventilate, breathe too much,
Mm-hmm.
and that they're going to do this. And it's also obviously going to be you'll be able to hear them breathing.
So the best thing to do when you're ever in a situation where you are feeling anxious or threatened or worried in any way is to literally focus on your breathing to slow it down.
Breathe through your nose.
Okay. Breathe through your nose and exhale slowly.
Yes.
Okay.
That is probably the quickest way to regulate your system,
Okay. Okay.
right? From being in a stress state to being in a calm state.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing you can do. A lot of people come to me to say, you're very zen or you're very calm.
Mm-hmm.
You're like a Buddha or something like that, which I take as a compliment.
You should.
But perhaps I was quite calm and centered growing up. That has only gotten better because I view being calm as a strength. That's only gotten better as I have more consistently breathed through my nose. Right? And just as a side piece of information, the operation I had, which I mentioned that required me to take antibiotics, was to fix a deviated septum, which I had from a very young age.
Okay.
So I was living my life compulsively breathing through my mouth. That, of course, affected my sleep. That affected my emotional state. Right? That affected my teeth and my oral health. Right? That affected my posture. That affected my pain. That affected injuries. So breathing through the nose is literally, earlier we mentioned, less sleepy, less years. Breathing through the nose is one of the simplest things a human being can do to improve the quality of their health.
And it's so interesting now, actually, while you were talking, I thought of this. So people, because you said breathing affects your sleep, but what about people who have sleep apnea?
There are many, there's different avenues through which that sleep apnea can come about. A lot of it does correlate. There's a lot of studies showing that the sleep apnea is closely correlated to the tongue. And the tongue basically is not strong enough to stay on the roof of the mouth. So our tongue should, I don't know if this is a good angle, if this is your tongue, right? And this is your mouth, your tongue should be on the roof of the mouth.
Yeah.
Right? It should not be like this, and it certainly...
I'm like checking now.
Yes.
Yeah.
It certainly should not be down here. When we speak, my tongue cannot be on the roof of my mouth.
Yes.
That's another good reason to listen more than you talk.
Okay.
Right? And so, yes, I'm not an expert in sleep apnea, but a lot of people's sleep apnea can be fixed or significantly improved if they get their tongue to be on the roof of their mouth, because that will stop the snoring and that will stop various other issues. But that's a very surface level approach to sleep apnea. There could be many other problems that are causing and...
Yeah, no, because literally I was just having a conversation with my brother because he has sleep apnea and he was telling me that he hasn't been able to sleep recently. So now when you brought up breathing as well and how it can affect your sleep, it just brought that up to my mind. That's so interesting. So how many breaths per minute is the norm? What is the right amount of breaths per minute that anyone should be taking?
Yeah, ideal would be 6 to 12 breaths per minute.
Okay.
That's where we want to be. Most of the general population is closer to 18.
Oh, that's a big difference.
That's a big difference. That's a serious difference. So on average, we're around 26,000 breaths a day. That number needs to be significantly less, right? A lot of people also forget the movement we do the most of is breathing.
True.
Every breath you take is a physical movement, right? As we're sitting here breathing, we're not dead still. Our body is moving, right? After breathing, if you take a lot of steps, then that's your next most common movement, right? But this thing about breathing however many thousand times a day, it needs to be done with the correct mechanics.
Okay.
If I'm not breathing into my stomach, that is causing a problem. My diaphragm is kind of locked up in my chest.
Okay.
And then I'm breathing all into my chest. And then, as I said, that creates a knock-on of physical problems because these muscles are chronically up here. These muscles are always forward. And then whether it's a neck or a shoulder or an elbow problem, it becomes a problem.
But you see, like, we grew up just obviously knowing how to breathe, like without even thinking about it. It's not something that we were taught.
Automatic.
Exactly. So whether we're breathing right or wrong, it's just the way we've always known how to breathe. No one taught us that, you should be breathing through the stomach and, what was it?
Low, slow, and through the nose. Diaphragmatic breathing. Yes.
And also the
diaphragmatic breathing.
Yes. So, if that is something that we have, like, if we never grew up doing that, we have been breathing wrong our whole lives, which now I understand is probably causing a series of other malfunctions in our body. But how does one go about learning how to breathe right? And what do you mean by breathe in through the stomach? Is it like pushing your stomach out, or is it more nuanced than that?
It's not, breathing correctly is not overly nuanced,
Okay.
right? It is really, in the simplest form, when I'm teaching someone to breathe, or a group of people to breathe correctly, I have a hand on the stomach and a hand on the chest. If my breath is going to be 3 seconds, the first 2 seconds are in my stomach and the third second is in my chest.
Okay.
And then on the way down, it's 1 second in the chest and 2 in the stomach. Right? That is in the simplest form. So it's 2/3 through your stomach, 1/3 through your chest. That, if you're doing that, it's highly likely that your diaphragm is getting the correct amount of movement, or at least is moving in the right direction that it should be, and it's not locked.
Okay.
Right? Of course, the diaphragm is a crucial part of our inner unit. If I simplify that, our core. Right? If it's not working, that means other parts of our core are going to be overworked.
Okay.
This is the initiation of the imbalance. And thereafter, with that imbalance, our body is going to try to compensate into a position where there's no pain, because your diaphragm's not really working. And then soon your transverse abdominis is probably not really working. That's the deepest layer of your abdominals, right? The surface layer abdomen is actually not that important. And then pretty soon you're going to have pelvic floor dysfunctions. You don't want those, without getting too specific. And then sooner or later, your multifidus, which is these little muscles in your back, pretty soon they're going to be in trouble too.
All of this because you weren't breathing right.
Very, very, very possible.
Okay.
Yes. The starting point.
I've never focused so much on my breathing before in my life. Even now, as you're talking, I'm like trying to like.
It's a good time to start.
Thank you, I guess.
Yeah. But listen.
It's never too late, right?
Important to note, obviously we encourage nose breathing. I've done many a breathwork circles or ceremonies or presentations where we use our mouth. And that is to create a certain stimulus.
Like
right?
what?
That stimulus would be a more energy or more energizing stimulus.
Okay.
If you want to calm down and go to sleep, breathe through your nose and have long exhales. If you really want to wake up because you're about to go into an important meeting, breathe through your mouth and breathe faster and take more inhales.
That's so cool. It's
that
like
will help you.
Okay.
And that is, by the way, that's completely natural. So that's a wonderful thing, because you don't have to go and drink soda or caffeine or whatever the case is. You can literally use your breath to manipulate your state, right?
That's so nice.
The thing about breathing through the nose, the nose is for breathing. It also obviously is for smelling. The mouth is for communication and consumption. It's a backup mechanism to breathe.
Okay.
When you're sprinting for your life and running and jumping, because a long time back, that's what people had to do, you probably needed to breathe through your mouth and activate your fight-flight nervous system.
Yes.
Because you were running to try and catch the buck or the deer so that your village had food to eat.
Yeah.
For those 30, 45, 60 seconds, breathing through your mouth was not only a good thing, it is literally ensuring the survival of your entire village.
Okay.
Likewise, when you're running away from a lion or climbing up a tree.
I'm gonna say, when you're running out of fear,
you better breathe through your mouth. That's a good thing.
No, it's just interesting because our bodies just know how to do that naturally.
Of course. We were created with this system.
So, but I just think that it's also really like cool, the fact that if you want to like amp yourself up before a meeting,
Yes, of course.
leave the caffeine behind, just
Of
literally
course.
start breathing through. Like, we have it within
Yes.
ourselves, the capabilities to literally manipulate our emotions and our feelings just through breathing.
Everything is within
Like,
us.
just choose how you want to breathe, and
Yes.
it will affect your mood.
Yes,
Do
yes,
you
yes,
want
yes,
to
yes.
calm down? Breathe slow. Do you want to get excited?
Yes.
Breathe fast and through the mouth.
The real problem comes in because breathing is an automatic action. You don't have to think about your breathing. When you're doing it wrong, you're going to be doing it wrong all the time. That will create a lot of further problems.
Okay.
Right? This is the part where it requires some consciousness, or for some people, in my case, I had a deviated septum, so I needed to go get that fixed.
Okay.
Right? That was severely affecting my ability to breathe through my nose. Right? It's important to note we no longer have to run away from lions.
Yeah.
Right? And most of us, most of us don't have to go out and either, bow and arrow and, kill a rabbit.
Speak for yourself, sir.
Yeah. For the most part, we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You just go to the supermarket and you buy your food. However, we're living in this world which is excessively stressful. And herein is really the unfortunate root cause, or the lead domino, to people consistently breathing through their mouth.
That's so true. Like, we live in a world now where I feel like the most common thing that I hear is that, I have anxiety. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No. Every Tom, Dick, and Muhammad has an anxiety problem.
Interesting.
Unfortunately.
Why do you think that is? Or is that way?
We breathe too much to our mouth.
Okay.
That's a starting point, but I mean, my worldview would also be that we are excessively stressed. Like, there's too much going on. We, as human beings, were not created for this much stimulus and demand and interaction. And yeah, I don't think this is the best state for human beings to be living in.
Do you think you would have healed in the same way and developed the physical functions and the health that you have now had you not gone to that practitioner who gave you the more natural remedies and you stuck with the antibiotics that the doctor prescribed?
Antibiotics were not helping at all.
Okay. But it's interesting how that's usually the go-to for most doctors.
That's not necessarily a good thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you were able to showcase not only was the natural approach the way that you healed yourself, but sometimes, most often, not sometimes, it is the best approach.
The natural way?
Yeah.
Yes, of
because
course.
it's all within
This
reach
is our
to a certain
natural
extent.
state, yes.
But we've been sold this image or this idea that you need to invest in all of these external chemicals. Not that I'm saying they're always bad, because you had an operation where you needed antibiotics. But
yes.
it's become so easy. It's become a crutch.
Western medicine does have its place. A lot of people, when I say I'm a holistic health practitioner, they think, oh, you don't go to doctors, oh, you don't this, you don't that. There's a lot of things in Western medicine that I would argue against quite vehemently.
Okay. Ooh, can I ask, like, what? Let's cause a riot.
No. I mean, let's just start and end at antibiotics.
Okay.
They're overprescribed, right? Opioids, X, Y, and Z. They're overprescribed. Most of our problems could be solved by just eating whole foods, fresh and organic where possible, drinking enough water, sleeping 8 hours, doing some movement. You don't have to go to the gym, or you don't have to have a special program. Just doing general movement, right? Having some kind of a meditative practice and knowing how to breathe. That would solve most of our problems, as in health problems. Obviously, there are major corporations that make huge amounts of money on human beings being sick. So
that's so unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Capitalism.
Yeah.
The Industrial Revolution.
But like, I feel like there should be some sort of line to be drawn. Like, when it comes to someone's health, like, leave capitalism at the door.
Yeah. There's been a lot of people that have had that approach for a long time. And I think people are starting to wake up to the importance of how much our lifestyle really affects all of the above. But yeah, Western medicine is not really the problem, because I know people whose lives have been extended for decades because they were able to get a certain operation.
Okay.
So it's absolutely necessary. It's very, very helpful to have Western medicine.
No, of course.
But
within
if it
reason.
is overused,
Yeah.
that is a problem. So I believe we need a balance of Eastern and Western medicine. If you look at Eastern medicine, it is a lot more natural. In China, or at least Chinese philosophies, I don't know modern day China, but someone would say to you, you need to go do Tai Chi in the forest,
Yeah.
or you need to just go swim in the ocean. That is literal medicine, right? But if you go to a doctor in the Western world, he's going to say, you're going to tell him your problem. He's going to do the check this and check that and checks and balances. And then he's going to write you out and take your drugs, prescription drugs. There's a great documentary called Prescription Thugs,
Okay.
which basically details how the Western world, America specifically, is just being overprescribed medicine.
Okay.
Obviously, a lot of this medicine is not really medicine. Goes behind the name of medicine, but yes, the overprescription of synthetic drugs is it's a massive downfall to mankind's health.
I don't even know what to say because it makes me mad. But at the same time, there's no way of stopping it. But at the same time, I am someone who, if a doctor does prescribe something, who am I to say, no, I don't think you're right? And how do I even begin to tackle it naturally? It's like I could go to someone who is more holistic, such as yourself, but at the same time, how would I trust that person either? Like, how do you find someone who's good or qualified? Like, okay, I know you and I trust you, but that's not the same for everyone, and not everyone, for example, would have access to someone like you. So it's just like a daunting thought to a certain extent.
I get that. I definitely do get that. It's not easy to answer or to handle. I think if it was simple,
it's just a thought.
we'd probably be in a better situation. I am very happy. I'm not sure how much you follow global politics, but specifically in the US, I believe it's Robert F. Kennedy Jr.,
Okay.
who has been elected as the head of health. I know that he has some policies and some ideas that some people don't like, but for the most part, he's in his 70s and he's a very in shape, healthy human being.
Okay.
I would say that your starting point as to who you want to take advice from would be that they're healthy.
Okay.
If you look years past, or should I say previous governments, the person who's making choices for the nation's health is not a very healthy person.
Yeah, true.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, in short, the person you're getting advice from should be a healthy person.
Okay.
I remember some years back, this was before I was the healthy human I am today. I was in my hometown and I was going to see the family doctor who we've known for a long time, and he knows all the history of asthma, etc., etc., etc. Just like the local clinic, Medicross kind of place. I remember firstly when he came up to me, I looked up and I was like, oh, that guy's not healthy. Like he was overweight.
Oh.
He was breathing through his mouth. He had significant forward head posture, like
What's that?
this.
Oh.
Us people who sit 14 hours a day oftentimes have bad postural positions. So anyways, I saw that, and that was just my instinct telling me, this guy ain't too healthy. As we went into the doctor's rooms, I said to him, yes, it's just a bit of flu. Just give me antibiotics and I'll be fine. Because that's what has been happening previously. And he was the person who stopped to say, wait, how much or how frequently have you had antibiotics? And then we had uncovered I'd taken antibiotics like 5 times in a year, which is way too much.
Okay.
Ideally, you never have to take antibiotics 5 times in your life.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Ideally.
That's a big jump.
Yeah, that's a very big jump.
Yeah.
So he was the one who said, wait, if you're always taking antibiotics and that's the only way you're fixing your problem, we need to start fixing this in a different way because antibiotics is not
He
sustainable.
said that.
Thankfully,
Yeah.
and maybe only because he's my family doctor. So thankfully that was a starting point for me, which was to say, okay, wait, Western medicine is not going to solve all of my problems. And then, of course, along the lines, I saw the naturopath. I started adopting that healthier lifestyle. And then since then, I've educated myself further, certified myself as a health practitioner.
Can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
So I noticed upon sitting on this couch that there's a crystal here.
Yeah.
So, would you like some water?
No, it's okay.
Okay. So what is this crystal? This lovely crystal that you have brought with
It's
you?
just, I carry crystals around with me most of the time.
Honestly, I don't know much about crystals. I don't know if I should
I'm not an
believe it.
expert.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not an expert either. Obviously, there's this ongoing conversation about do you believe in them? Are they real? Are they not?
I don't even know the argument about them, to be honest. Like, I don't know what they're supposed to
The idea is that this is a piece of earth,
Okay.
which is an element, and it has a frequency.
Yes.
It holds an energy. That is in the simplest form. At least my understanding of crystals, like I said, I'm not.
No.
Crystals are just a nice thing to have around.
No, it's very pretty. Can I?
Go
see it?
ahead, yes, sure.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
So this is a clear quartz, I understand its name is. And the idea is that it's really clearing some of the energy around us.
Yeah.
I enjoy crystals. I'm not a connoisseur.
No, I love it. It's so pretty.
Some of the hippies like crystals.
Would you classify yourself as a hippie?
I would say I have certain parts of me that are closer to being a hippie,
Hippie
than
tendencies? I
a
think
square.
we all have hippie tendencies. Even those of us who don't like to admit it.
Not everyone. But to a large extent, I would say you could classify. I would not be offended if you said he's a hippie.
Do you believe in energy?
Of course.
Yeah, me too. What is something that you wish more people knew about, like the health and wellness industry? Something that's so underrated, for example.
It's hard to say it's underrated. Look, if
Or not underrated, just you wish had more of like a light shown on it.
hydration,
Okay.
that's an area. Most people don't need to be told that a salad is better than
A burger?
chips
Okay.
or a burger. Most people don't need that lecture. They can kind of figure that out for themselves. So definitely some people need some grounding and they need to understand what is this and what is that. That's fair. But for the most part, if I say to someone you need to eat healthier, and then they go into the supermarket, they know that chicken is healthier than chocolate.
Well, yeah.
As a simple, it just as a very basic idea,
Yeah.
right? However, I want to say the percentage of people who are chronically dehydrated is alarmingly high.
But what's like how do I know if I'm dehydrated? I feel like I drink enough, but people always tell me you don't. What is there a number?
Well, yes, and the number is not 2 liters.
Yeah, because that's what they say, and I feel just like
It's like a grandmother's tale,
okay.
right?
So what is it?
Look,
then?
for most people, 2 liters is a good starting point because most people don't
Starting
drink.
point?
Most people don't drink 2 liters a day.
Barely drink one.
Yes. So in that case, it's a good idea to go closer to 2.
Okay.
But to give a calculation, if you take your body weight in kgs and multiply it by 0.033,
Okay.
that answer is going to be how many liters of water you need to drink a day.
Okay.
So if I'm 100 kgs, I would need to drink 3.3 liters a day. So in that case, 2 liters is not enough.
Not at all.
For you, probably 2 liters is enough.
Okay.
You would need to run the calculations, but
Yeah,
yes,
I'll do it. But my brain doesn't brain when it comes to math.
it's okay. But most people are just chronically dehydrated.
Okay.
That is, I would say, of course, we've spoken a fair bit about breathing. So please breathe through your nose.
I shall try.
You and everybody,
Yeah.
breathe more through your nose, right? And just, breathe before you are going to do something. Don't gasp,
Okay.
right?
Interesting. Why are you saying that?
Why am I saying don't gasp?
Yeah. Like,
Well,
especially before you go do something, like, what is there something in particular you're thinking about? Just the way you delivered that sentence, it looked like it was more meaningful.
a lot of people around me gasp
Okay.
especially when they want to make a point or they're getting a bit frantic.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we start saying,
Okay.
these things happen.
This
Right,
is
and
me.
then as we're speaking through a conversation, then speak,
Mm-hmm.
and before you know it, you're hyperventilating, right?
Okay.
Whereas just breathing through your nose helps you maintain this calmer state.
But what if you find it difficult to breathe through your nose?
Fix it.
Okay.
The absolute best advice I can tell you, if you have a problem breathing through your nose, fix that problem. Because I guarantee you, not breathing through your nose and chronically breathing through your mouth will create a large number of problems physically, mentally, emotionally, and possibly even spiritually.
Okay. Wow. That's a big say.
It is going to have the plethora of problems you will incur because you are chronically breathing through your mouth is endless.
When you say fix it, you mean surgically or
There
are
are,
there
yes,
other ways?
there are other methods. Look, a lot of people don't have a problem with their nose, but they're breathing chronically through their mouth because they are in a stress state.
Okay.
So their autonomic nervous system is functioning from that stressed state. They don't need to get surgery on their nose. They just need to become aware that they're breathing through their mouth too much and start breathing through their nose a lot more. And the changes will take place by themselves.
Have you heard or ever tried those nose strips?
Yes,
Do
useful.
yeah. So I was just gonna ask if you think they work, and also, with breathing through your nose, if let's say someone starts using the nose strips to help help them learn how to breathe through their nose, if someone is a heavy snorer, would that also affect their snoring?
It can.
Okay.
I can't say that there's 100% correlation.
Okay. The reason why I bring this up is because right now, as you were talking, I remembered a friend of mine who started using those nose strips, and they said that their snoring got better. So
It's
I was wondering
entirely
if it's
possible.
because they started breathing through their nose more.
Yes, if you are breathing consistently through your nose, the correlation to snoring would be significantly less.
Okay.
Yes, expressed as a percentage.
So ladies, get your man that nose strip.
It's a good starting point. Yeah, and women should breathe through their nose too. Everyone needs to breathe through their nose. Perhaps it's most important that children learn to breathe through their nose. And if a parent identifies that a child is breathing through their mouth, the earliest intervention is best.
So, but how would a parent intervene when it comes to a child? Because I feel like that would be very hard to tackle when it comes to your children. Like, how do you even begin to explain, like, don't breathe through your mouth if they find it very difficult?
Well, it's funny. I was growing up, my mom always used to say, eat with your mouth closed.
Okay, yeah.
So I was eating, and I had to keep my mouth closed to keep breathing. Because when I closed my mouth, I couldn't breathe through my nose.
Okay. So that's how you
So
started
obviously breathing is more important than eating. So that's why I would try to breathe through my mouth whilst I was eating.
Which
Right.
was obviously bad.
Not a good thing. Yes. In that particular example, my mom didn't have the know-how, or she did not, neither did my father. They did not realize that the chronic mouth breathing was going to cause a lot of problems later on. Right? I would say, from people much wiser than myself, I've learned that children learn best by seeing what their parents do.
Yes, I agree with that.
Right? Not necessarily hearing what their parents say. So if a parent identifies that their child is chronically mouth breathing, putting mouth tape on might be a great start. But my personal advice, I wouldn't even say it's advice because I don't have kids, but me personally, I would put the mouth tape on myself
Oh,
so
they
that
would
the
see.
child would see and think that this is normal. And then they wouldn't think it's weird when they put the mouth tape on themselves. And at the point that you put mouth tape on, if that person can't breathe, you understand that there is another problem,
Okay.
right? Sometimes a child just has like a flu, and so they have a snotty nose.
Okay.
And when we have a snotty nose, we breathe through our mouth because you
Yeah.
can't do all that. Like, it's going to be a messy situation to breathe through your nose,
Yeah.
right? That's a passing thing.
Okay.
The part about chronically breathing through your mouth, that is something that should be addressed as soon as possible. And if mouth tape doesn't work, then if it's necessary to have a surgical intervention, then
Yeah. So
yes.
it's a good way to assess, at least.
It's a good starting
baseline.
point.
Yeah. So to any parent listening out there,
Mm.
tape your mouth child shut.
Yeah. I mean, even
It might solve
even-
more than just one problem.
Absolutely. But I mean, the parents out there still start with breathing through your mouth, breathing through your nose yourself, right? Because the child would also pick up on that. Just let's hypothesize to say that a child feels unsafe in their environment.
Oh.
And now they start breathing through their mouth because this is the emergency, the fight or flight nervous system kicking in.
Okay.
If their parents create a safer environment, that may alleviate the child's chronic breathing problem,
That would be a very
just because
interesting
the
thing to
child
know.
is now safe. If we're not safe, we're going to go towards the sympathetic nervous system, which again is not a bad thing, but if it's always on, that's going to become a problem.
So it could also be interesting in terms of like adults, if you are ever, I don't know, this is where just my brain went just now. It's like if I ever notice patterns, am I breathing more through my mouth in a certain situation or room, let's say, in my house versus in a different room where I find it easier to breathe through my nose. Maybe I can even figure out why.
Just change.
Yeah, it could be a psychological thing,
The
and maybe I can
environment.
even ask why. Like, do I feel
Yes.
safer in this room than that
Yes.
room? And you can assess different situations based off your breathing,
Yes.
because you might not realize that you're feeling a certain way in that situation,
Yes.
but then if you think about how you're breathing, it's like there's something off here.
Of course.
That's so interesting.
If I give an example, a lot of this sounds like a breath cast.
It's
But-
fine. I actually okay.
If I give an example, this
talk
past
is about
weekend,
breathing.
I was delivering a presentation on breathwork. As I was driving to the hall or the facility where I was going to be giving that presentation, I noticed my heart rate was starting to rise and that my breath was starting to be a lot more shallow.
Okay.
That was just anxiety,
Yeah.
nerves kicking in. That's a natural thing, right? Thankfully, I have the knowledge and the awareness to notice that, and I didn't just keep going, right? But I calmed myself down before delivering that breath work. I calmed myself down by breathing through my nose and really slowing the whole thing down. And then I was able to get on stage and not be so nervous, right? But then ultimately what I was delivering was a lot more energizing breath work. So that was a lot of in and out through the mouth. Nonetheless, I noticed that my breathing patterns were changing because I was getting nervous about something.
Okay.
I was able to make myself less nervous by changing my breathing pattern. So my physiology affects my psychology. My psychology also affects my physiology, right? There are ways in which I can use this to help this, and there are ways in which I can use this to help this. Breathing
Yeah, sorry.
is the quickest and most effective, efficient way that I use my body to help my brain.
So in understanding all of this, a person is able to harness it as a tool to
Absolutely.
manipulate whatever situation they're in when it comes to regulating their emotions
Yes.
or whatever it may be.
Yes.
That is, so it's a superpower. Your breathing is your superpower.
The
to a
breath
certain
is the
extent.
superpower. I'm of the belief, perhaps in a contrarian sense, breathing should be a part of our curriculum in school.
Oh, wow.
If I was, I mean, who knows, but if I was going to homeschool my kids, my starting point every single day would be to make sure that they're breathing correctly.
Okay.
And when they come back from lunch or a break or so, make sure they're breathing correctly. And when they finish the day, make sure they're breathing correctly.
Okay.
The importance that I would give to breathing, it would be more important than geography,
Okay.
for example.
So for example, parents that might be listening, what would you tell them, or how would you advise them in terms of breathing practices that they should do with their kids to help them? Like if this is something that they want to start, knowledge they want to start imparting, because I'm sure like
That's
lot
a
of them
wonderful
are
question.
unaware.
To be honest, no one's ever asked that, but
Well, you're welcome.
yeah. It's actually, it's a very, 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 very good concept, and it's something that I think that we could incorporate more. So if we want to, this is just off the top of my head now, but if we want to educate our children to breathe correctly, I would say at the intervals where your family is a unit, to have a moment either probably at the starting point is good, because that would signify the importance, right? So if your family congregates to eat a meal, you have parents and you have kids, start by, maybe if it's going through a prayer, something like that is always a good idea, but start by accentuating the importance of breathing. Take 5 deep breaths before you are going to start eating, for example. Or one thing that I've tried is that every time I'm going to pick up my phone, which is something I do very commonly, I do a breath check, which is just checking in with my body, how am I breathing, right? And it's also a reminder to breathe through the nose. Oftentimes the phone, unfortunately, is a source of stress.
It is.
So that will have its knock-on effect to us breathing through the mouth and having
So
bad
it's good
postures.
to check your breathing while you're using your phone.
Yes, a phone check. I mean, something like brushing your teeth, because that's, hopefully you do that every day or twice a day or 3 times a day.
What, we're supposed to do every day?
I mean, some people would argue. So something that is mundane, that is very regular occurrence, I would say that is a good thing to anchor your breathing to. Every time, not every time.
So pick one thing, for example, to start and use that as your base.
Yes. Before you're going to eat, take 10 mindful breaths. Simple example.
And to breathe slow and through the nose.
Yes.
Are you listening, parents? It might help calm your kids down as well. So
It
you're
will
welcome.
It will help, yes.
Okay, well, I think that's a good way to wrap up.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Thank you, and wishing you all the best in this venture.
Oh, thank you so much. I really
Spill the
appreciate it. So I would just like to, again, thank you so much for joining me on my couch and for spilling the tea with me. And thank you to everyone who tuned in today. And even if you're just tuning in to tune the world out, that's fine by me. Just follow, subscribe, do all the works to make sure that you stay up to date on Spill the Tea.